Look at this thing.
Look at this. You know, when I see a car like this, first thing I do is I say, would you look at this?
Brutal. Dang. If ever there was a car to body swap, I think this would be the car, considering it has no floor at all. Man, what was I thinking? I'll tell you what I was thinking. I was thinking it was $200, and I didn't want to see it go to the scrapyard. Man. What am I going to do with this? Okay, this is going to be a video about future projects and what I need to do around here. I'm starting to run out of space. Just a bunch of cold face yapping I got going on with my freshly shaved beard, but I don't know, as stuff continues to roll in here, like this freaking Merc over here, it's a complete pile of shit, but you know, it just makes me think. There's a lot of stuff around here, and oddly enough, this piece of junk, I see it as worthless, and it makes me want to work on it first, or next, I should say. I'm working on the old Ford truck now, but just to turn nothing into something. Originally, I was told that this Mercury had a front clip. It clearly does not. But that's not necessarily a problem, because the 51 is the car I want to build anyway. This is my dream car. I love 51s. Two-door 51s, hands down my favorite car. Now, as you can see, you know, it was a Western car. It's actually a pretty solid car. And then the doors, they've had work done to them. Not the best doors. These fenders are pretty rough. I actually have been talking to a guy on Marketplace. Just gotta find some time to go pick up a set of fenders. Guy's got nice Western fenders from like Nebraska or somewhere. that are mint. And so anyway, that leads me to the point where, like, yeah, I could patch that and fix that, but
I'm gonna make it right.
with this car being a car I want to do right, I'm not gonna budget build this thing. I want to have a car that I've always wanted. So it's not gonna be, you know, a junkyard engine block and thrown together with spare parts I got lying around. This thing is a car at some point I want to put some serious money into, and just like I said, build it right, keep it, never going anywhere. I wanted one my whole life. It's already got some cool work done to it. The Camaro subframe, it's got a Camaro rear end. It's got new leaf springs and stuff in the back. So that's how it's going to sit in the back, you know, maybe a little bit lower with some gas and some interior in it and stuff, but it'll sit pretty dang nice once an engine's in it, the way they step the subframe and stuff. If anything, I cut a half a coil and it would be riding pretty nice. So I don't know, nice engine, nice interior. I want to chop it. I want to build the car I've always wanted since I was 12 years old. So over 30 years, I wanted to build a 51 Merc. So back to talking about these crap fenders. That leads me to the point where I picked up this 50. Now, I got this thing real cheap off the same person. The guy's cleaning out an estate sale, or cleaning out an estate to be able to sell the property. So the guy wanted all these cars gone. And what happened was the guy paid, I don't know how much he paid, but say he bought, I think, 35 cars. So I don't know how much he paid. He probably, not a whole lot. They're all pretty bad. But anyway, what ended up happening is I got in contact with this guy. Somehow, he mentioned there was a couple Mercuries there. And there were three. There was this one, that four-door one I cut the rear window and stuff out of. It's still sitting here. And I cut the door tops off. Just, I want to put a 50 rear window in my 51. So there was this one, and that one. Now, I paid not a lot. So my thought was, do I take the front clip off that one, or at least the fenders, put those fenders on this car, because these are really bad, and then do I take these fenders off and this whole front clip and use them for that four-door that has no front clip and is a piece of junk? Because my thought is that thing is worthless, and if I can make it a complete car, heck, I've even got some frames sitting around here. I got an airbagged S10 frame, might be an idea. But I even thought about taking the doors off my 51. I know that things are slightly different, 49s, 50s, 51, but I even thought about taking the doors off the 51, putting those doors on here, using that four-door door to fix this where that tree grew and put a dent in this door, and then converting that four-door to a two-door with this front clip and these doors, since that B-pillar's just hanging and dangling in the air and it's not doing anything anyway. And same thing, I have a line on the quarter panels, the lower quarters for a 51. Then do I donate these to turning that car, that four-door, into a two-door? It already needs all this anyway. So I could measure off this car, do the sheet metal work. It's a thought. It's not a plan, it's just a thought. But it would be really cool to have this car kind of be, I mean, it deserves better also. That four-door, realistically, if I could turn it into a two-door, and I hate the word rat rod, but just kind of leave it ratty and make it a complete car, I think that'd be pretty cool. Because right now it's doesn't have a chance at anything. It realistically was destined for the crusher, and I felt bad, and I paid $200 for that 4-door one. So, but like I said, this thing deserves better, I think. So, is it the whole Ronald Reagan or whoever said it, the trickle down economics thing? You know, the 51 gets the nicer stuff. The decent stuff off it gets donated to the 2-door 50. And then the crap off this gets donated to the 4-door 50. I don't know. It kind of makes sense in my head. Where I'm going to find all the time to do this doesn't really compute. But, you know, then there's these Dodges over here. Like, what am I going to do with this thing? I mean, it's a parts car for the nicer one. But realistically, the nice one doesn't need any parts off of it. Everything is nicer on the California car. So, do I pull parts off this thing and part it out and keep some stuff? Do I, you know, keep these cool fender openings that have a lip on it for, I don't know, an old lead sled project, maybe one of those Mercs? Heck, I don't know. I mean, it has an engine and transmission in it, but it's not like I'm ever going to build a 270 Dodge engine. You know, I understand there's people that want to keep them all original, but I don't really trust driving something like that an hour away, so I don't know. The interior's there, pretty rough, but like I said, you know, aside from the steering wheel out of that car, because this one's got all sunbaked and pretty much just fell apart, you know, there's, you can tell it's pretty, spent a lot of time in the sun, pretty baked. But this car, like I said, everything's nicer on this car, with the exception of the steering wheel. So, do I part this car out? Some decent stuff on it. You know, I think these bumpers would look pretty cool on like my 51 Merc, because the way the quarter panels come out would kind of match up. You know, they got these thick bumper guards, which would look pretty cool on an old sled, I think. But again, do I pull this thing apart, take off what I can sell on eBay or Marketplace or whatever, and use that money to put an engine in this nicer California car? That would probably make sense. This thing would be an awesome cruiser. Right here's the old 36 Chevy cab. I have a bunch of parts for it too. There's an old Studebaker frame here. It would be a really cool truck frame. There's I got a couple rear ends, a couple truck rear ends. There's a 9-inch over here hanging out. As you can see, all the snow's melting and my roof's leaking back in the corner. That's great. And like I said, there's that airbag S10 frame. So that truck would be cool. I got this old freaking Model A up here. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I would like to at least cut the crap out of it that was ruined. Everything's just butchered on this thing. Absolutely butchered. Like somebody went all yeehaw and thought, let's make a freaking rat rod out of this thing, and everything is junk. So I think if I would go through and basically redo it, cut out everything. I even got enough stuff here miscellaneous doors that came with it that I could add a couple inches if I had to, but it is just hammered. I think it'd be cool to make this at least, I know they started making it a 4-door and a 2-door, but at least do it right. Like get the door lengths right, add, you know, a couple inches or whatever in the doors. Make the door or the quarter windows correct. It's just so beat up. But that's a project. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff around here. And while I'm blabbing on about projects, there's this unit here, an old Yamaha XT500 I started building. I made like everything on this, the tank, the front end, the whole back half of the frame, the dropouts I made. So this motor does run, or at least it ran years ago. So I think it'd be a neat little thing to finish up. It really doesn't need that much. There's no, you know, electronics on it or anything. It's kickstart. It's basically a dirt bike engine. So, I mean, it wouldn't take much to get it finished. Just, I don't know. It's on the list. And back here, of course, we got the Nova. It was not running right, and then it would run every once in a while, and come to find out the gas tank was rotted. And I put a new fuel pump in it, and then I realized, oh, the gas tank sucked, so it's got a new fuel pump, new gas tank. I got a new distributor, new carburetor. I just want it to where somewhat reliable. I'm hoping to get on that at some point, late in the spring, early summer. Just collecting a bunch of dust, but it's not a terrible car. It's got some rust, but it was a California car, so underneath of it's actually pretty solid. Had to fix a little bit of the trunk in one of my videos last year, because of course the window leaked and soaked the carpet, and you know how that goes. But there's the Nova. That won't take a whole lot. Like I said, this is my priority now. I've had it long enough. My dad had a 64 when I was a kid, and I just think it would be a really fun truck to drive, you know, 5-speed Crown Vic with an old truck body on it. It's fun to putt around on, just back and forth to the front side to the back side of the garage. And you know, right now the wheels are rubbing and stuff like that, but it'd be really fun to get this truck out and actually beat on it. And we might as well just keep going here. This is my old 50 style line I've had since I was, I don't know, 19, 20 years old. I've had it a long time. My wife and I had it in our wedding. And since I've bought this shop, it hasn't ran. So it's been over 4.5 years since I've even started it. I don't even think I started it and drove it on the trailer. I think I don't know, say 4.5 years since it last ran. But it's a runner. It needs a little bit of brake work. The brakes work, but they kind of suck. They're stiff, and then they're not, and then in other words, I would not want to get in traffic with this thing. But it's original inline 6. This thing's only got 35,000 miles on it. So again, it wouldn't take a whole lot to get this car up and going either. That's kind of the theme with the back section of the garage here. This car deserves some love too. This would be my favorite car of all time in my collection if I didn't own that 51. I really like this 50, and I've had it for so long. I've chopped it a couple different times, shaved everything, you know, Frenched the headlights. I do want to redo the taillights on this because honestly, I don't like what I did. I Frenched in some 50 Chevy taillights, and I don't know. I just don't like it. She's got a good chop though. It's like 5 in the front, 7 in the back or something. I butchered it the first time I did it, and I ended up having to redo it. This might be a candidate to add like an inch if I ever redo it. But, and that brings us to this beast. This old 2-door 57 wagon I got in a trade. I drove it back here and parked it. It actually runs really good. Got a 350 in it. It's a Muncie 4-speed. The linkage is kind of jacked up. I think it has like 3-speed shift linkage in it because you have to basically turn the car off, put it in first gear, start the car up, let the clutch out, drive, and then get to where you need to be. If you got to back up, you got to turn the car off, put the transmission in reverse. Like, I didn't want to grind up a bunch of gears trying to drive it while the car was running. So it needs shift linkage gone through. The brakes, one of the brakes was kind of seizing up when I was driving it, so I ended up just taking the drum and stuff off, taking the brake pads out. But it's got a ton of parts in the back, and honestly, I have never even gone through all the parts in this car. I know there's a couple sets of side trim, so I don't know, it would be cool. Just like a really cool cruiser, I think. The interior's not that bad. I don't know what I would do with this one. If I would just keep it original or give it a good paint job, or when you think of 57s, I almost think of that larkspur blue color, so I think it would have to probably be that color. The dash and stuff is kind of already that color. Such a cool car. And like I said, the theme of the stuff back here is stuff that's closer to the road than the stuff up front, but then with the exception being this 48 Chevy pickup. This thing I started working on in my garage at home. There's some really old videos from me repairing all the rust. I mean, it was some serious rust. This thing was shot. It was an old farm truck. It's got all new floors in it. Rockers are replaced, cab corners, inner, outers, toe boards, the whole 9 yards, lower doors. I mean, it's been completely gone through. The cowl sides are new. I mean, it was a farm truck that some old farmers had welded a bunch of steel plate over the rust holes and everything, and really jacked it up pretty good. But I have an LS sitting in there right now out of a Silverado I pulled apart. Yeah, the front clip's over there. It's a complete truck, new tailgate and stuff. This is another one I'd like to get back on, or I don't know. It's stuff just keeps cutting in front of it in my priority list. So this one would probably be one I would sell. I've thought about selling about half the cars in here at some point, and then I get too sad when I think about not having a bunch of junk to look at. I don't know. That's kind of a weird tour of the shop. I started this video planning to talk about my plan for the Mercuries, but I guess it just led to discussing all this crap. So as you can see, I got plenty of projects, and I got to stop buying cars.